We are Metal Nation Radio, your one stop for the best in hard rock and metal. Signed and unsigned. Only we deliver the noise the way you like it. Loud. Metal Nation Radio. Feel the pain.
This is Jon D from Metal Foundations on MetalNationRadio.com. I'm here with Bill Steer from Carcass. How's it going, Bill?
All right. How are you?
Very good. Tour's going great so far, I assume?
Yeah. I haven't got any complaints, actually. It's been a load of fun. It's been intense, tiring, a bit silly, but mostly good.
So 4 years since Surgical Steel came out. So you guys have pretty much been on, I don't want to say constant tour, but probably a good portion of those 4 years you've been on tour. So you must have lots of stories, lots of things. What would you say the best audience, most memorable night of this tour has been, at least in the last 4 years? So not just this tour, but...
Okay, that's so tricky because there's so many highs. I mean, on this tour specifically, I'd say, well, there was a couple of real standout gigs in North Carolina, Asheville, Wilmington, and also Providence, Rhode Island was killer. Yeah,
really?
Really shocked by that.
Rhode Island?
Yeah. I mean, obviously touring with Slayer was just fantastic.
So you guys obviously, I mean, that has to be an influence for you is Slayer, right?
Huge
So
influence.
how surreal was that for you as a fan coming in as, support for one of your favorite bands?
It was very strange because, sure, we had done the odd festival where we'd officially played on the same stage, but that's festival stuff and it's a bit random. But this was a situation where we were kind of invited to some degree, and God, we were just so up for it. And we didn't really anticipate anything in particular. We were just grateful to be there. But as it turned out, we got treated beautifully by band and crew, and the audiences were very tolerant. In fact, a lot of them seemed to get into what we were doing. So the whole thing was just way beyond anything we could have expected.
That's amazing. And also, we were talking about this before the interview, about invite shows. One of the invites you had was Kirk Hammett's Fear Festival. How did that come to be?
I genuinely don't know, but it was nice to be asked, Yeah. And as I was saying earlier, it was just a buzz, as a fan of, a guy who grew up on Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
I had met James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich in the 90s briefly, and then finally got to meet Kirk Hammett, so that was great.
Was that on a tour like that you met them?
Yeah, that was a very odd night in Salt Lake City on a tour, I think in '94. We were playing, they were on a night off, and if I remember correctly, their limousine pulled up after we'd finished playing, and then they went into the bar, and somebody suggested, somebody engineered a meeting. It was funny, just like I said. I mean, like the 13-year-old kid in me was like, "Wow, this is brilliant,"
So did that 13-year-old kid come out again at the Fear Festival?
Yeah. I mean, again, I spoke to Kirk Hammett briefly, but it was still a buzz, yeah, for sure.
You guys must have been handpicked or something for that.
I'd like to think so, but I really don't know what the situation was. But yeah, I mean, he seemed to be pretty enthusiastic about the band, which was nice.
As a Carcass fan, it was a big thing for me. I flew in from Toronto to San Francisco for the Fear Festival, and of course you guys were playing, and so it was huge for me. And amazing show. I had seen you guys previously in the 90s, and one thing I noticed, you guys are way tighter now. I don't know if it's a credit to your rehearsing, or do you think it's more of a maturity thing, or...
Yeah, maybe. I hate to use the word maturity. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe. Yeah, on a good night, it can be fairly tight. We have our off nights, like most bands do.
Yeah.
But this is live music. I like the random nature of it. I don't really envy the bands that go up there and play to a click and have backing and stuff, because to me that just takes out any element of danger or.
I was going to mention that. You get the bands playing to the click track, and you also have a lot of bands playing with the Fractal audio units, and they're everything is very manufactured, and they actually travel with dummy cabinets. Yep. They're not playing through amplifiers. What's your thought on that, Trash?
Well, if they're happy with it, that's cool, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be involved with it myself,
Yeah. And so we're on the topic of gear. So one of my gear questions back in the 90s, you're primarily playing Ibanez and Super Strat model style guitars. Now you're a Les Paul guy. First of all, how's your shoulder doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I've never solved the mystery of I started to get this like brutal nerve pain in this hand.
From the new guitars or the old guitars?
Oh no, I mean like now I'm using Melody Makers, which are the lightest guitar known to man, so it's fine. But I never figured out if it was directly because of the Les Paul Custom, which weighed a ton, and I'm not the biggest guy. So a lot of people I spoke to, specialists and so on, thought maybe it was putting so much pressure.
These fingers on your fretting hand?
Yeah,
that's pinch nerve, folks. Guitar players out there, the Les Pauls, amazing guitars, but
Well, yeah, I mean, I know plenty of people that haven't had that kind of trouble, but yeah, I certainly did, and even to this day, I have occasions when it flares up again, and it's just torture because it's like an electric shock through your finger.
It's numbness, shocking. Yeah,
it's so piercing, but. It's been going on for about 5 years, and I feel like I'm getting the better of it now.
Good, yeah, that's good to hear that. I mean, obviously, when it's your bread and butter is guitar playing and your lifeblood, it's.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's been testing. There's been moments where you're thinking maybe I need to find something else to do. Because if this keeps cropping up, I can't be touring, because it could jeopardize everything. Yeah, you're halfway through a tour, and all of a sudden you can't play.
Or you have a surgery, and all of a sudden the tour's canceled. So. A couple questions about I don't want to say side projects because obviously you're as passionate about the music you're doing outside as Carcass as in Firebird. Anything coming from Firebird? Can we expect anything? Have you been jamming, writing?
No, because I guess some people know the band kind of fizzled out. I guess about 5 years back.
I wasn't aware.
But in recent times I've started to think about it again. Like I really would like to explore that side of my music again. It's just a load of fun to do. It's a challenge. It really keeps you on your on your toes as a guitar player because there is no second guitar and there isn't much distortion. So you're very exposed and you have to, make every note count. I guess.
Yeah.
It's all about three people gelling and
you're leaving yourself vulnerable as well as a three-piece. In a three-piece, everyone has to be is equally as strong. Yep. Like we look at Rush. We're in Canada, so we have to talk about Rush. Any influence on Firebird or on your guitar playing?
Well, I mean, certainly as a kid, I was very into Rush, and
any albums that stand out in particular?
Well, the first one I heard was 2112. But I think these days I'd probably be more likely to listen to early Rush, actually.
Yeah.
The stuff that's more straight ahead hard rock.
Its first album's amazing. No Neil Peart though on drums. Sorry, Peart. That's. No Neil Peart on the drums. That's the other guy. He's unfortunately passed away. I was sneaking over your Wikipedia page here, and it says you play harmonica as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do on several Firebird records, and that would be usually how we'd end the set. Just, I don't know, as kind of like an exclamation mark or something. I just put the guitar down and plug the harp mic into the amp.
Okay.
And, it's a hell of a fat sound. I mean, I used to really enjoy doing it. That's another thing I miss, really. Besides the other stylistic elements of that band, I miss playing slide guitar and I miss playing harmonica.
Yeah, well, I mean, Firebird, amazing, great project. I love listening. I don't want to say project again. I mean, it's obviously something you're passionate about, right? It also says on your Wikipedia page, I don't know if there's any credence to this, it says that you play the triangle.
Yeah, I think that's just some prankster. Yeah, I don't believe I've ever played a triangle.
I actually played orchestral triangle, and it's terrible because you have to count 186 bars, and that's where your spot comes in. And I was in high school, so there's a cute girl at the front, and I missed the bar every time. So, so it's good that you probably didn't play the triangle.
I hadn't realised how much you could do with a triangle until I listened carefully to Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Because there's an incredible triangle part. I'm not sure if it's second or third verse in the song. There's this really killer, articulated triangle part, and there's no way
with the palm muting on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's no credit on the album, but that's got to be some kind of orchestral musician because it was so on it.
Could be the drug. I mean, they were on all kinds of drugs. Their senses were heightened.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, like a good drummer's got swing no matter what he's playing.
That's right. Yeah. I noticed. Speaking of drummers with swing, one thing I wanted to mention, Ken Owen, big influence on me. I'm a death metal drummer as well. Right, okay. So, but the one thing that separates him from the other guys, by other guys I mean in death metal, is that he was in the pocket. He had a lot of swing, I guess you could say, a lot of feel of the way he played. And I just want to know. with the new guys in the band. I don't even want to call them new guys because they've been in the band for almost half a decade. I noticed that the new album, the drumming is very similar in vein to Ken Owen, where it's got that groove as opposed to this mechanical death metal feel where it's just. Was that something you guys were looking for in a drummer?
Yeah, that was our intention from the off, was to record the way we used to record. The only difference being we didn't use tape this time. In the 90s, everything was 2-inch tape.
Yeah,
I sort of missed that, but we didn't get into all this crap like click track, keeping it on the grid, because to me that music doesn't breathe. So yeah, if you're going to put a metronome against any song on this latest record, you will observe movement. But I love that. I mean, all my favorite records have that, and Dan, our drummer, was more than willing to get involved with it.
I didn't notice he plays Ken's parts almost exactly, which is an homage, as a drummer, learning them to that degree. It's an homage to the playing of that drum.
I mean, that's the kind of person Dan is. I mean, he's so musical. He understands what's needed of him in this band. And I think, it's pure instinct, because yes, you have to fully acknowledge the drum parts of the original guy.
Yeah.
And he really loves Ken's stuff. But you also have to bring something of yourself to the table.
Yeah.
Because if you're holding that back, people will sense it. If there's something fake going on, and you're not being honest about how you yourself play. So I think he just found a way to cover both things.
Yeah, and like I said, very reminiscent of Ken's drumming on Surgical Steel, which for me as a drummer, it's awesome because I get to play something fun again when I put the headphones on and swing along or whatever, grind along to Carcass. So very happy with that, myself as a fan. What else we got here? Red Dwarf. You guys are on Red Dwarfs, and now that show's back together, is there any chance of a Smeg and the Heads reunion?
God knows.
If you got the phone call, would you do it?
Wow, I think I'd have to leave that up to Jeffrey like last time, because I didn't really want to do it the previous occasion, but he was saying, "Oh, come on, I've never been on television. It sounds like fun."
My dad made us watch that show growing up, Red Dwarf, and I remember seeing you guys and being like, "What the hell's with this?"
Yeah, well, people don't believe me when I say this, but I've never watched an episode all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good show.
I know, it has a very strong following. Yeah.
Do you have Netflix?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really out of touch.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you should check it out. It's a classic episode. You probably find it on YouTube anyway. Anyway, one final thing. This is it's not really Carcass related to you. I just I ordered this when it came out. You remember the flexi disc? You can't forget that. Yeah. So anyway, there's this mail lady on my block, real nasty. You don't have to comment to that. But anyway, so this thing came in like a flat board, and she bent it in half and creased the record right down the middle. I didn't even get to listen to it. I just want to know if you have any parting words with the Canadian postal system on this travesty.
I just say be more careful in future, if it's all possible.
It said do not fold on it.
Sorry?
It said do not fold on it.
Yeah, exactly. Goodness me, flexi discs, wow.
So there you go, Canadian postal system. Don't let this happen again. Us fans it's brutal. Anyway, thank you for taking the time.
Cheers.
Metal Nation Radio appreciates it, and enjoy the rest of your tour at Costa Rica next week, and then you guys are home for the holidays. Yeah,
it's looking that way. Yeah, I can catch up on some sleep. That'd be fun.
Lots of sleep. Cool. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.